Namaste children. Now in this part I am going to start the cultural consequences of globalization. So here we see the negative and positive aspect of the cultural consequences of globalization. First we will start the negative consequences, and this is cultural homogenization. So here globalization leads to rise of uniform culture. Homogenization in uniform culture. This is called cultural homogenization. This uniform culture happens to be the Western or American culture, and this is closely linked with the soft power hegemony, that is the culture of a politically and economically dominant society leaves its imprint on a less powerful society, and the world begins to look more like the dominant power wishes. And we have earlier read same topic about the US hegemony as a soft power, and some call it the McDonaldization of the world, which cultures seeking to buy into the dominate American dreams. And this is also a dangerous not only for the poor countries but also for the whole humanity, for it leads to the shrinking of the rich cultural heritage. This is the main reason of the cultural homogenization. Now positive aspect of the culture consequences. So here we discuss about the cultural heterogenization. All cultures accept outside influences. These outside influences enlarge our choices and modify our cultures. These leads to adding more varieties and the emergence of the fusion culture. Now what is fusion culture? Mixed culture. Fine. Thus blue jeans goes well with khadi kurta. Thus it makes each culture becoming more different and you can say more distinctive. And this is called cultural heterogenization, and globalization is, students, not a new phenomena. I earlier told you it had been there in all the time. Fine. Now the next topic is India and globalization. We said earlier that globalization has occurred in earlier period in history in different parts of the world. Flows pertaining to the movement of capital, commodities, ideas and people go back several centuries in Indian history. But if we will talk about the colonial period in India, during the colonial period, as a consequences of Britain's imperial ambitions, India became the exporter of raw material and primary goods only and a consumer of finished goods. After independence, because of this experience with the British, we decided to make things ourselves rather than relying on others. And through Silk Route, trader export spices, precious jewels during the British rule in India. During British rule, triangular tea trade from India and raw material export from India also. After independence, Government of India started the policy of protectionism. Now, what is the meaning of protectionism? One more question. When the government protect their own industries by imposing restrictions on import by increasing taxes. Fine. This is known as protectionism. In 1991, there was a major policy changes in India. We adopted policy of liberalization. That time, Finance Minister was Dr. Manmohan Singh, and he allowed foreign direct investment, mean leniency in licensing or leniency in set up the industries. Many MNCs set up in India and generate employment, reduce tariff restrictions also in India for the economic development of the India. Right? So this liberalized policy give benefit to the Indian economic system. So in India, economic growth become faster. That is what said that globalization always been there, but after 1991, the speed picked up a lot in India. Now we see resistance to globalization. All are not happy for globalization, students. Mainly the section of society that is not happy for globalization is mainly lower or poor people. So there had been resistance to globalization not only in India but in different countries of the world, mainly by the leftist and rightist. Now we will see the meaning of leftist, who are belong to leftist and who belong to rightist. So leftists are those those group of peoples that is stand for the interest of people of poor section. They belong to poor section of the society, and basis of resistance is mainly economy, because due to globalization poor people become more poorer and rich become more rich. So those on the left argue the contemporary globalization is making rich richer and poor poorer, and weakening of the state leads to a reduction in the capacity of the state to protect the interest of the poor. Now we see the resistance to globalization by the rightists. Fine. So rightists are worried culturally, mainly their focus is on culturally, and the leftists mainly focus on the economy. So rights are worried culturally. They feel that the traditional cultures will be harmed, and people will lose their age-old values and ways also, due to Western culture and own culture getting affected. Now it is important to note here that anti-globalization movements are not opposed to the idea of globalization per se, as much as they are opposed to a particular program of globalization which they see as a form of globalization. And in 1999, at the WTO, World Trade Organization, ministerial meeting, there were widespread protest of CETA alleging unfair trading practices by the economically powerful states. They adopt policy only unfair trading policy only for the benefit of for their country only. They are not bothered about the poor country or developing countries. So it was argued that the interest of the developing countries were not given sufficient importance in the evolving global economic system. And the World Social Forum is a global platform which brings together a wide coalition composed of human rights activities, environmentalists, labor, youth and women activities opposed to new liberal globalization. And the first WSF meeting was organized in Porto Alegre, Brazil in 2001. The fourth WSF meeting was held in Mumbai in 2004, and the seventh WSF meeting was held in Nairobi, Kenya in January 2007. Now, the last topic of this chapter is India and resistance to globalization. So, resistant to globalization, India has come from different quarters by left wing and right wing. At the world level, I discuss about the views of leftists and rightists. Same here in the we will talk about the concept of India, and here also we see the views of leftists and rightists on the globalization. How they resist, why they resist the globalization. So we will talk about first the left wing, the views of left wing. There have been left wing protests have come from the forum like Indian Social Forum and trade union and former unions, trade union in India and former unions has organized protests against the entry of multinational companies and patenting of certain plants like neem by American and European firms has also generated considerable opposition. That is the reason why their resistance for practices of globalization. Now we will talk about the resistance by the right wing in India. Resistance to globalization has also come from the political right. This has taken the form of objecting particularly to various cultural influence, ranging from availability of foreign TV channels provided by the cable networks and celebration of Valentine's Day and westernizations of the dress taste of girl students in school or colleges. So here we see the resistance of globalization, but we also know that there are many positive points of globalizations also, because people are interdependent to each other, countries are interlinked to each other. So we never avoid the globalization, because we get benefit from other countries due to flow of ideas, due to flow of commodities, due to flow of people, and trade also fine. So these are the main points we have discussed in this chapter about the flows of globalization and the causes of globalization and consequences of globalization, positive, negative points. We have discussed all the topics now. This is all about the chapter globalization. I hope you understood all the points. Thank you.